Hey everyone, this is Friedel Hacker Asia Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Boruto, Naruto Next Generation's anime episode number 239, which is titled The Boy from the Isle of Shipbuilders. And in the previous episode, the previous episode ended up having a mystery element to it because someone ended up killing the captain, which was unfortunate because I was kind of liking the character. But yeah, after the captain dies, everyone decides to figure out who's the killer, and Kyoho ends up being one of the suspects, but it turns out it wasn't Kyoho, and Kawaki ended up using his brains in order to solve the mystery. And we got to know that apparently someone from the Funato clan ended up hiding in the ship, and he's the one who ended up killing the captain. And before that person could be apprehended or stopped or killed, he ends up destroying the engine. And yeah, the ship has no engine and the ship is in trouble. So episode number 239 opens up with Denki trying to fix the engine as much as he can. So apparently he has been able to make certain repairs, and that's why the ship was able to at least keep moving. But now Denki is like, you know what, I can't do anything else, I can't do anything more, we are stuck in the middle of the ocean. And this is where Kagura is like, you know what, this is troubling, but we shouldn't be disheartened, there's still a chance. And apparently, as far as Kagura is concerned, there's this island nearby and they can kind of make it if they have a lifeboat. And Salad is like, okay, so is this going to be a very tough mission? Because the island is far away, right? And Kagura's like, yeah, it's far away, but we have no other choice. And while that's happening, we get to see Boruto sitting alone at the top of the ship, over on the deck. And apparently he's very tired, or at least he got burned out. It's a heat stroke or whatnot, and he loses consciousness, and he actually falls from the side of the ship into the water. And I'm like, Boruto, really? No one is keeping an eye on Boruto, huh? Where's Mitsuki? Isn't Mitsuki keeping an eye on his boyfriend? What's happening here? But yeah, Boruto falls into the ocean. And as he's losing consciousness, because he can't swim, because he's very, very tired, but before he loses his consciousness, he ends up noticing this shadowy figure coming towards him. And that figure ends up extending his webbed hand. And yeah, this was giving me very Little Mermaid vibes. And I'm like, okay, I guess Boruto is being saved by a Little Mermaid, huh? But yeah, Boruto ends up waking up at the top of the deck, and Boruto's like, what the heck just happened? Who saved me? I fell over. And Wabi is like, no, you were just knocked out over here, and that's why we ended up waking you up. Boruto, you didn't fall over from the ship. And Boruto's like, no, I know what happened to me. I fell over. And I'm like, Mitsuki, why weren't you with your man? What's happening? And why wasn't Kawaki trying to keep an eye on Boruto either? But again, I guess we can chalk this all up to plot convenience. So as all of them are talking about what to do with the ship and the engine that needs to be repaired, they end up hearing a boat coming towards the ship, and we get to know, and we are introduced to this new character, a young boy named Ikada, and his boss. And yeah, they come on top of the ship and they board the ship. And this is where they end up telling this is where Salad and the rest end up telling their predicament to Ikada and his boss, and that the engine has been destroyed and whatnot. And it turns out that the boss is from the Isle of Shipbuilders. It's basically a shipbuilding expert, and he can kind of help with the repairs. And Bruto's like, oh, you're the one who saved me, right? And Ikada is like, what are you talking about? Bruto's like, yeah, thank you for saving me, I fell over and you saved me. And Ikada's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And even Salad is like, Boruto, I guess you should give this a rest. And then they turn to talking about the boss and how he's a very, very experienced builder and whatnot. And it turns out that Ikada is a newbie. He's basically an apprentice for the boss, and he has a lot to learn. And this is where the boss is like, you know what? I can do the repairs for your ship, but we need to take the ship to the Isle of Shipbuilders. And Kagura's like, how are we going to do that? And it turns out that the ship that Ikada and his boss were in, it's strong enough to tow such a gigantic transport ship all the way to the village. And I'm like, okay, this is a powerful little ship. So while they are going towards the island, this is where Boruto is like, you know what, Ikada, the person who saved me, he had webbed hands. So I would like you to show me your hands, and if they're not webbed, then I'll be sure that you weren't the one who ended up saving me. And Ikada is like, okay, I guess you can look at my hands. And yeah, Ikada shows Boruto his hands, and they aren't webbed. And I'm like, I'm kind of trusting Boruto right now. I think that Ikada is the one who ended up saving Boruto, and maybe if when Ikada's entire body gets too wet, that's how he's able to transform into a more marine-like creature, but I could be wrong. So moving on, everyone is at the docks, and apparently there are a whole lot of docks in order to accommodate a whole lot of ships. And they are like, you know what? Can you spare us another ship so that we can make our way to the land of the village of the hidden mist? And yeah, the people on the dock are like, no, 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 no. All of the ships have gone away in order to fight the Funato clan. So we don't actually have any more ships to lend. And but then again, but they're like, you know what? We'll make the best of our situation. And this is where the boss is like, you know what? I can help you make the repairs. And Denki is like, yeah, I'll help you too. And in this way, I'll be able to learn more about the engine and whatnot. And my partners, my teammates, Iwabi and Metal Lee can help. And the boss is like, okay, okay, suit yourself. Oh, before we get to the scene, as far as the rest of the characters are concerned, Kagura, Salad, and Buntan, Hibichiko, and Kyoho, they end up going to this communication. They walk away in order to find a way to communicate Chojiro in order to tell him what's happening. And Boruto is like, you know what, I'll go with the ship repairs and help with the ship repairs. While Kawaki is like, well, I'm just going to walk around the dock and get to learn more about this place. And Mitsuki is like, yeah, I'll do that too. And there's this very fun scene between Mitsuki and Kawaki that comes up later. But yeah, coming to the Funato clan, the heads are eating food, and Tenma comes in, and I guess this is another new character. I guess she's apparently the daughter. I'm not really sure. Could be a cousin. Who knows? But yeah, this is where Tenma comes in, and Tenma is like, "I'm so happy that you're okay, father. My apologies that I didn't come sooner to rescue you." And yeah, Tenma's father is like, "Don't worry about it, but tell me what you've been up to. How's the fortress?" And Tenma is like, "Yeah, the fortress got destroyed by these shinobi, and there were hidden leaf shinobi in there as well." And the daughter is like, "Why are the hidden leaf shinobi working with the shinobi from the mist village?" And I'm like, "Well, because they have an alliance, I guess." And Tenma is like, "Well, I can go right now and put an end to the Hidden Leaf Shinobi if you want, Dad." But yeah, Tenma's brother is like Isaki, I guess his name is Isaki. I forgot. But yeah, Tenma's bro is like, no, 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 no. Don't worry about the fortress. The fortress ended up serving its purpose. It ended up destroying a whole lot of the resources that the other villages had. And now we focus on our next part of the mission. So stay focused. And as far as the Leaf Shinobi are concerned, we'll handle them when we come to it. So everyone is working in order to trying to repair the ship. And as Ikada is walking, his journal ends up falling to the ground. Bruto picks it up and he's like, "Oh, you ended up writing a whole lot in there." And Ikada is like, "Yeah, yeah, I did, because one day I want to be a very, very experienced shipbuilder, and I'm just learning." And as they're helping with the repairs, this is where Boruto overhears a conversation between these three men down here, and they're like, "You know what? The feudal lord has been focusing a lot on automation and streamlining things and whatnot. And do you think that the Shinome one is very safe to use? Because those things were created in order to calm the seas down. But if they end up rerouting a whole lot of the waves, then the fishermen will end up being in trouble." And Bruto's like, "Okay, so I guess a whole lot of you have concerns about how the feudal lord has been running things here, huh?" And Ikada is like, "Yeah, yeah, we kind of do, because when it comes to the past of the hidden mist, all of the islands were working individually. This is the first time that we're actually working as a cohesive group. So of course there are a few growing pains, but this is also where Boruto ends up overhearing the people talking about, you know what, we don't necessarily care about all of these politics as long as we get to keep our jobs." And yeah, there's something happening in the hidden mist, because during the conversation that the Funato clan leaders were having, Tenma ended up telling them that a whole not Tenma, Tenma's brother ended up telling his father that a whole lot of other people have been taking their sides, because apparently a whole lot of people aren't happy with how the feudal lord has been handling stuff in the area, which makes sense. Which makes sense. This is a real life issue. People in real life also have these issues with their politicians and how things are being developed in a territory. So we cut to Kagura, and Kagura ends up talking to Chojiro, but he couldn't get to him, and he ends up, I guess, talking to Chojiro's secretary, and she's the one who tells Kagura that things have escalated, and Chojiro is out in the front lines in order to assess the situation and whatnot. And Kagura ends up relaying the information to Salad and everyone. And yeah, they're worried. They're worried. So we cut to Kawaki and he's just walking around and he notices that Mitsuki has been following him and Kawaki is like, okay, what is it, Mitsuki? And Mitsuki is like, nothing. I'm not following you. I'm just heading in the same direction as you. And Kawaki is like, you're acting sketchy, Mitsuki. And Mitsuki is like, okay. But yeah, Mitsuki is very, very intrigued by Kawaki, which makes sense considering the type of character that Mitsuki is. And I'm looking forward to seeing how their dynamic is going to evolve from here. If they do, because when it comes to the manga, Kawaki and Mitsuki haven't been, they haven't spent a lot of time together. So moving on, this is where it turns out that Ikada ended up making a mistake because Ikada, I guess, is responsible for keeping the inventory and all of the stock in check. And it turns out that there's this piece that's required in order to properly fix the engine. And yeah, because Ikada messed up, that piece isn't in the inventory. And Ikada is like, well, I apologize. Give me this chance. I can go and get a new piece from the factory. I can do that. And the boss is like, no, 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 no. The Funato clan people are nearby and I don't want to put you in danger. And Bruto's like, he won't be in danger. I'll be with him. And Ikada's like, please, 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 let me go, let me go. And this will also show you that I'm a bit more independent, even though I just started working for you. And the boss is like, okay, I guess you can go. So Bruto ends up following Ikeda, and Bruto's like, okay, so is this factory quite far? And Ikeda is like, yeah, it's quite far, but we'll be able to reach it in time because I have this boat. And we get to see this little boat that Ikeda ended up building himself, and this is the first ever boat he built. And Bruto's like, are you okay? Are you sure that it's going to be safe? And Ikeda's like, yeah, it will be safe. Come on now. And Bruto comes aboard, and yeah, it turns out that even though this is a very, very small ship and it has some rough edges, it's very, very fast. And Bruto's like, okay, I guess I'm okay with this. And as they're heading towards the factory, this is where Bruto and Ikeda talk about what Ikeda wants to do and his love for shipbuilding and boats. And Ikeda is like, yeah, because boats aren't just necessarily items, because boats bring people together. They're used for transporting people and goods. They bring communities together. And I'm just very passionate about boats. And Bruto's like, okay, but if you want to become a better shipbuilder, you need to stop making small mistakes. You need to keep an eye on the inventory and whatnot. And Ikeda is like, yeah, I know that. And then Ikeda ends up turning to Bruto and he's like, okay, Bruto, so why did you agree to accompany me? And Bruto's like, well, I just thought that it was going to be fun going with you. And Ikeda is like, that's a very weird reason. But yeah, I think that Bruto knows that it was Ikeda who ended up helping him, and Bruto wants to get to the truth, and that's why he's keeping close to Ikeda. And as far as Bruto is concerned, the fact that Ikeda helped him, that already makes him a friend in Bruto's eyes, and Bruto just wants to become friends with Ikeda. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not Ikeda will. I mean, he has to, right? He has to show his true form in the upcoming episodes. But let's see what happens. Let's see. And maybe, just maybe, Ikeda is kind of connected to the Funato clan as well, and he ended up running away. Who knows? Who knows? Because of his skin tone and his hair, he kind of looks related to the leaders of the Funato clan. But I could be wrong, and that can end up adding a new layer of complexity when it comes to Boruto trying to deal with the Funato clan, and also the fact that he ended up being friends with Ikeda. But yeah. If I end up doing a written review of this for the Geekieri, the link to that review will be down in the comment section below. As soon as the review is published, let me know what you thought of this episode. It was a small episode short episode as far as plot progression is concerned, but it was okay. It was fun. I liked the Little Mermaid vibes that we got through Ikeda saving Boruto. And Boruto trying to figure out if it was actually Ikeda who ended up saving him, the same way that Eric was a bit confused about whether or not it was Ariel who saved him. Or it was someone else. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode. And until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later. Bye.